Billionaire is shocked to see a homeless woman cleaning his car with twins in her arms. What happens next is unbelievable. Noah pulled the black Lamborghini to a stop in front of the cafe, where he always had his double espresso, 7 in the morning, same time as always, same table as always, same silence as always. 32 years old, a billionaire, owner of one of the largest tech companies in the country, and alone, completely alone. When he returned to the parking lot, something was wrong. A woman was bent over the hood of his car, rubbing the black surface with a dirty, torn cloth. But she wasn't alone. In her arms were 2 blonde, light-eyed babies, a boy and a girl, who couldn't have been more than a year old. Twins. She held both of them at the same time, one in each arm, while trying to clean the car with her free hand. "Is that my car?" Noah shouted, more out of shock than anger. The woman turned quickly, nearly losing her balance with the weight of the 2 children. The babies stirred in her thin arms. She was young, maybe in her early 20s, with messy brown hair and clothes that had seen better days. I just wanted to," she began, trying to adjust the twins better in her arms, unable to look directly at him. "You're cleaning my car with them in your arms?" he asked, incredulous. Noah just stood there, watching the impossible scene. How was she not dropping the babies? How did she manage to hold them so firmly while trying to work? It was surreal. The woman was holding 2 small children, 2, while scrubbing his car with a cloth that looked more like an old rag. Chloe lowered her head, clutching the twins to her chest. The little girl started to cry softly. "I just wanted to buy some milk for my kids," she murmured, still not looking at him. The words came out so quietly, he almost didn't hear them. But he did. And something inside him stirred strangely. How did she manage it? The twins must have weighed a combined 30 pounds. Maybe more. And there she was, holding them in her arms, trying to earn money to feed them. The boy squirmed, wanting to get down, but she couldn't put him down on the parking lot floor. So she readjusted him, shifting her position, and he calmed down a bit. "I had nowhere to leave them," she said, finally raising her eyes. Blue, tired, desperate. "I'm sorry. I didn't want to cause any trouble." Her thin arms trembled slightly with the weight of the 2 children, but she didn't complain. She didn't let them fall. She held them both with a determination that impressed Noah. He just stood there, watching. He had never seen anything like it, a mother holding 2 babies at once while trying to work. The image was powerful, desperate, and somehow beautiful. The girl pulled at her mother's hair. The boy played with a button on her blouse. 2 babies oblivious to the desperation of the situation, just being children in the arms of someone who would do anything for them. Noah felt a strange tightness in his chest. His life was made of meetings, numbers, decisions that moved millions. He woke up alone, worked alone, slept alone. He had everything money could buy, but there, looking at that woman holding 2 babies while trying to clean his car, he realized something he couldn't explain. Without another word, he reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet. He had a few bills in there, much more than she could ever hope to earn cleaning cars with 2 babies in her arms. "Take it," he said, holding out the money. Her eyes widened. "I can't take this. It's too much." "Take it," he repeated more firmly. She looked at the money, then at the twins. Carefully, she adjusted them into a more stable position and took the money with her free hand. Tears streamed down her face. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you so much." Noah took a step back, unlocked the car, and got in. He started the engine but didn't drive away immediately. In the rearview mirror, he saw her walk away with the babies, both still in her arms, putting the money in the old bag slung over her shoulder. The image was burned into his mind like a photograph. He drove to the office on autopilot, but his mind was elsewhere. He couldn't stop thinking about the scene. A woman holding 2 one-year-old twins while trying to work. How was it possible? How did she not drop them? How did her thin arms support the weight of both children? The image of her with the babies in her arms wouldn't leave his head. At the company, he sat in his $3,000 leather chair and stared out the 20th floor window. But he didn't see the city below. He saw her, the two blonde babies in her thin arms, the dirty cloth in her free hand, the desperate blue eyes. During the 9 o'clock meeting, he tried to focus on the growth charts, but he thought of her holding the twins while working. During the 10 o'clock presentation, he pretended to pay attention to the new projects, but he saw her thin arms trembling with the weight of the two children. The image wouldn't leave his head. During the business lunch, he smiled at the right moments and said the right words, but he heard her voice whispering, "I just wanted to buy some milk for my kids," as if she were apologizing for existing. He went home that night, a huge, empty penthouse apartment in a ridiculously expensive building, and poured himself a glass of scotch. He sat on the balcony, but the glittering city below couldn't compete with the image seared into his mind. She was holding two babies at the same time, working like that, doing the impossible. The image wouldn't leave his head. How did she do it? How could a person hold two one-year-old twins and still try to work? He had trouble carrying a briefcase, and she was there with two children in her arms, cleaning cars. He downed the scotch in one go and poured another. The image of her wouldn't leave his head, her thin arms holding two children, her tired but determined blue eyes, the way she readjusted the babies when they moved, never letting them fall, always keeping them both safe. It was an impossible image. A mother doing what seemed impossible because she had no choice. Noah tried to distract himself, turned on the TV, checked emails on his laptop, but nothing worked. The image of her with the twins in her arms kept coming back, like a movie playing on a loop in his head. Her whispering, "I just wanted to buy some milk for my kids," the two blonde babies in her arms, the dirty cloth in her free hand trying to clean his $200,000 car. The image wouldn't leave his head. At 32, he had built an empire. He could buy anything, go anywhere, have anyone he wanted. But that night, alone on his multi-million-dollar balcony, he couldn't stop thinking about a woman whose name he didn't even know. A woman who held two babies while cleaning cars to buy milk. The image wouldn't leave his head. He finished the second scotch and decided he would forget the episode. Tomorrow would be another day, other deals, other meetings. Life would go on as it always had. But when he closed his eyes that night, all he saw was her, the thin arms, the two blonde babies, the desperate blue eyes. The image wouldn't leave his head. He tossed and turned. Nothing. Always the same scene replaying in his mind, her with the twins in her arms, trying to work, trying to survive. At 3 in the morning, Noah was still awake. The image of her wouldn't leave his head, and for the first time in years, he realized he didn't want it to. Noah woke up at 5 in the morning, not because the alarm went off, but because he simply couldn't stay in bed any longer. The image of her was still there, fixed in his head, as if it had been tattooed on his mind. He showered, dressed, had coffee, all on autopilot. By 6:30, he was in the car, driving to the office. But when he reached the cafe's parking lot, he stopped. She was there, same place, same time. But this time, she wasn't cleaning any cars. She was sitting on the curb with the two twins in her lap, watching the street traffic as if she were waiting for something. Or someone. Noah parked and watched for a few minutes. She was wearing the same clothes as yesterday, or at least very similar ones. The babies were awake, but calm. The girl was playing with her own fingers. The boy was watching the cars go by. He got out of the car. "Good morning," he said. Approaching, she looked up, surprised. For a second, it looked like she was going to get up and run, but she didn't. "Good morning," she replied softly, adjusting the twins on her lap. "Are you waiting for someone?" Chloe looked at the street, then back at him. "No, just sitting here, thinking about what to do today." Noah noticed she was hungry, not that she had complained or asked for anything. But there was something in the way she looked at the bakery across the street, the way she swallowed hard when the smell of bread wafted over. The babies also seemed restless, shifting in her arms. "Have you had breakfast?" She shook her head. "And them?" he asked, pointing to the babies. "I bought milk yesterday with the money you gave me." "There's still a little left." Noah looked at the two babies. They were clean but thin, too thin for 1-year-olds. The boys' clothes were too big, the girls' a bit too tight, clothes that probably came from donations or were bought second-hand. "Come on," he said, extending a hand. "Let's get something to eat. I can't accept any more." "I'm not asking for permission," he cut in, but without aggression. "I'm inviting you, and they need to eat too." She hesitated for a long moment, looking at the twins. The boy was trying to bring his hand to his mouth, a clear sign of hunger. "Okay," she said finally. "But just a quick bite." She stood up, adjusting the twins in her arms. Noah watched how she did it, a fluid, natural movement, as if carrying two children at the same time was the most normal thing in the world for her. But he also noticed how her arms trembled slightly, not from cold but from exhaustion. They went into the diner. It was a simple but clean place. A few tables, a counter with fresh pastries, a nice smell of coffee and baked goods. Noah chose a table in the corner, away from the foot traffic, and helped her sit down, or tried to help. It was complicated to sit while carrying two babies. "Let me hold one of them," he offered. "No need. I'm used to it." But he saw how she was struggling to sit down without dropping the twins. The chair was low, and with the weight of the two children, she couldn't balance properly. "Please," he said, holding out his arms. "Let me help." She looked at him, then at the boy in her arms. She hesitated. "He doesn't know you. He might cry." "It's okay. If he cries, you can take him back." Carefully, she passed the boy to Noah. The child looked at him with those huge, clear eyes, studying the unfamiliar face. He didn't cry. He just watched, curious, raising a tiny hand to touch his face. Noah didn't know how to hold a baby properly. He was afraid of squeezing too tight, or not enough. But the boy seemed comfortable, propped on his arm. He was light, much lighter than he expected, and warm. He had a sweet, clean baby smell. "What's his name?" he asked. "Ethan. And she's Emma," Chloe said, indicating the girl still with her. "Ethan and Emma," he repeated, looking at the boy in his arms. "Hi, Ethan." The baby smiled. A small but real smile. His clear little eyes sparkled. Noah felt a strange tightness in his chest. When was the last time someone had smiled at him like that, wanting nothing, without any ulterior motive, just smiling for the sake of it? A waitress came over. Noah ordered coffee, assorted pastries, fruit, juice, yogurt, cookies, more food than they could possibly eat, but he didn't care. He wanted to make sure there were options for the babies too. "So," he said, still holding Ethan, "what's your story?" Chloe settled Emma on her lap and gave her a small piece of bread to suck on. "There's not much to tell." "I have time," Noah insisted gently, "and I'm curious." She looked at him, as if deciding whether she could trust him. Emma was focused on the piece of bread, sucking on it happily. "I used to work at a clothing store in the mall. It wasn't an amazing job, but it paid enough to get by. When they were born, I took maternity leave. When I came back, they told me my position had been filled. Can they do that?" "Technically, no, but they came up with some excuse. Staff cuts, restructuring, that kind of thing." Chloe took a sip of her coffee and sighed, and then the hunt for another job began. "And then?" "I looked for other jobs, lots of them. I went to stores, restaurants, offices, even a factory, always the same story." She gave another piece of bread to Emma, who ate hungrily. "But who's going to hire me?" "I can't put them in daycare. It's too expensive. A good daycare costs more than a minimum wage salary. I don't have family to help. So you have to bring them with you," Noah finished. "Exactly. And then the conversation always ends the same way. 'Sorry, but we can't hire someone who needs to bring two kids to work,' as if I have a choice." She said it without bitterness, without anger, just as a fact, as if she were stating that the sky was blue or that water was wet. Ethan was trying to grab the glass of juice on the table. Noah moved it out of the child's reach, but let him play with a plastic spoon. "I look for a job, but who's going to hire me with two babies in my arms?" Chloe continued, giving Emma another piece of bread. "It's an impossible situation. I need to work to support them, but I can't work because I need to take care of them. And that's why you were cleaning cars." "That's why I was trying to clean cars," she corrected with a half smile. I'm not very good at it, as you probably noticed, but I thought maybe I'll know if I could get a few dollars here and there. Have you tried working from home? I've tried. Selling things online, doing freelance work on the computer, but with no money to invest, no good equipment, it's almost impossible. And even when I did get something, they need constant attention. It's hard to work when you have two babies wanting to be held all the time. Noah watched her feed Emma small pieces of bread dipped in milk. The girl ate slowly, but she ate everything. She was clearly hungry. Ethan was also watching the food with interest. Want to try giving some to him? Chloe asked, noticing Ethan's gaze. Can I? Of course, just small pieces, and dip it in milk first. Noah took a piece of bread, dipped it in the milk as she had instructed, and offered it to Ethan. The baby grabbed it with both little hands and brought it to his mouth immediately. He was hungry, Noah observed. They're always hungry. They're at the age where they eat a lot, grow fast, but milk and porridge don't keep them full for long. The sincerity in her voice impressed Noah. It wasn't self-pity, it wasn't drama, it was just the truth. Facts presented without embellishment, without a plea for compassion. How do you do it? He asked. Do what? Carry both of them at the same time. Take care of them alone. Not give up. Chloe looked at Emma, who had finished eating and was now playing with her own feet. Because they need me. It's as simple as that. When you have someone who depends completely on you, you find a way. You always do. But it must be exhausting. It is, she admitted. Some days I sleep for 3 hours when they let me. Some days I don't eat because I only have food for them. Some days my arms ache so much from carrying them that I can barely move. But look at them, she smiled, looking at Ethan in Noah's arms. It's all worth it. Every hard moment, every sleepless night, every meal I skip. They are everything. Noah had never felt that. He never had someone depend on him that way. He had employees, of course, but it wasn't the same thing. They needed the job, not specifically him. They're lucky to have you, he said. I'm lucky to have them, she replied, looking at Ethan in his arms. Even though it's hard, even though it's complicated, they give me a reason to keep trying, a reason to wake up every day and fight. Ethan had finished eating and was now playing with the button on Noah's shirt, fascinated by the small, shiny object. Where are you living now? Noah asked. Chloe's face clouded over slightly. A temporary place. What kind of temporary place? She hesitated, giving another piece of fruit to Emma. It's not very suitable for children, but it's what I can afford right now. What does that mean? It means it's not a normal apartment. There's no monthly rent, no need for a guarantor, things like that. It's more a makeshift shelter. Noah felt a tightness in his chest. Ethan had grabbed his finger and was playing with it, smiling. Such a small, innocent child. And Emma, in her mother's arms, was starting to doze off after eating. Show me, he said. What? Where you're living. I want to see. You don't need to. It's not about needing to, he cut in gently. I want to understand. I want to know what your life is like. Chloe looked at him for a long moment, as if trying to understand why a wealthy stranger cared about her life. Why are you doing this? Yesterday you gave me money. Today you're here, buying us food, wanting to see where I live. Why? It was a good question. Noah wasn't sure of the full answer himself. I can't really explain it, he admitted. I just know that I can't forget you. Since yesterday, I haven't stopped thinking about that scene. You with them in your arms, trying to work. It affected me in a way I didn't expect. Affected you how? It made me realize things about my life, about what really matters. You have so little, but you have purpose, a reason. I have everything money can buy, but I don't have that. She continued to look at him, studying his face. What's your name? She finally asked. Noah. I'm Chloe. And they are Ethan and Emma. You already told me. Right, I forgot. She smiled. I'm not used to adult conversation. I spend all day talking to babies. They were silent for a few minutes. Ethan was dozing in Noah's arms. Emma was already sound asleep with Chloe. The diner was getting busier, people coming in for breakfast before work. "Let's go," Noah said finally. "Show me where you're living." Chloe sighed. "It's not a pretty place." "I'm not looking for a pretty place. I just want to understand your reality." "Why?" "Because I care. I can't explain why, but I care." They left the diner. Noah handed Ethan back to her. It was impressive how she could hold both babies at the same time without seeming uncomfortable. It was as if her arms had perfectly adapted to the weight and shape of the two children. They walked a few blocks, leaving the more polished commercial area behind. The streets were dirtier, the buildings older. Some had broken windows, others were clearly abandoned. Chloe stopped in front of a structure that had all the hallmarks of an unfinished building: exposed brick walls, visible concrete structure, windows without glass, a half-broken fence around it. "This is it," she said, without looking at him. Noah looked at the building. It didn't seem safe even for adults, let alone for two small children. "You're living in there." "On the 3rd floor. There's a room that's not too bad, and it doesn't charge rent." "It doesn't charge rent because it's not meant to be inhabited," Noah said, incredulous. "It's what I can afford right now," she replied, still not looking at him. They entered the building. The floor was full of debris, electrical wires hanging down, a concrete staircase with no railing. Chloe climbed, holding both babies, stepping with extreme care. Noah followed her, his heart racing. A false step, a broken stair, and she could fall with both children. The 3rd floor was a dark hallway with several doorways. Most had no doors, just open gaps. Chloe opened one of the few remaining doors. The room was little more than an empty space, a few blankets on the floor forming a makeshift bed, a bag of clothes, 2 baby bottles on a cardboard box. A window without glass let in a cold wind and the sounds of the street. Noah stood at the door, processing the scene. It was worse than he had imagined, much worse. "Chloe," he said, his voice more serious, "I know it's not ideal." "Ideal?" He looked at her, then at the babies in her arms. "You and your children cannot spend another night here." "Noah, I appreciate your concern, but this isn't concern. It's reality. This is no place to live. Especially not with 2 children. But it's what I have right now." "No," he said firmly. "Get your things. You're coming with me." "What?" "You heard me. Get your things. You are not staying here one more night." Chloe stared at him, holding the twins tighter. "I can't accept this. You've already done too much. I don't know you. You don't know me." It's the right thing to do," Noah completed. "Look at this place, Chloe. Look at your children. They deserve better than this. You deserve better than this." She looked around the miserable room, then at Ethan and Emma in her arms. "What if you're dangerous? Then you take the kids and leave. But that won't be necessary. Why are you doing this?" Noah looked at her, at the 2 babies, at the room not fit for an animal, "because everyone deserves a chance. And you deserve so much more than this." Chloe hesitated for a long moment. Noah could see the battle raging in her mind. The fear of trusting a stranger against the brutal reality of where she was living. "Okay," she said finally, "but just for a few nights, until I can find something else. As many nights as necessary." She gathered the few things she had. Noah picked up the bag of clothes. It was everything she owned in the world. A few pieces of clothing, the baby bottles, diapers, a small blanket. They went down the precarious stairs again. Noah felt a huge sense of relief when they reached the street. He couldn't imagine how she went up and down those stairs every day carrying 2 babies. In the car, he helped her settle the twins in the back seat. There were no proper car seats, but they improvised with the seatbelt and some cushions. "Where are we going?" Chloe asked as Noah started the car. "My house." "What's it like?" Noah thought of the 3-story mansion, the pool, the gardens, the guest room that had never been used. "Big," he said simply, "and safe." As he drove, he glanced in the rearview mirror. Chloe was sitting between the 2 babies, a hand on each wart, whispering something softly, probably explaining that they were going to a new place, that everything was okay. And for the first time in years, Noah felt like he was doing something that truly mattered. The mansion's gate opened automatically as Noah approached. Chloe sat in silence in the back seat, looking out the window as they drove up the wide stone driveway. The property was immense, well-manicured gardens, a fountain in the middle of the circular entrance, the three-story house rising imposingly ahead. She swallowed hard. Noah parked in the garage and turned off the engine. In the silence that followed, only the soft breathing of the twins could be heard. They had fallen asleep during the ride. "We're here," he said, turning to her. Chloe kept looking out the window, processing where she was. The garage was larger than the apartment she used to live in before the babies were born. Gerd held 3 other cars besides the Lamborghini, all expensive, all gleaming. "It's very big," she murmured. "It is," Noah agreed, getting out of the car, "sometimes too big." He opened the back door and helped her get out with the babies. Ethan was fast asleep. Emma stirred a little but didn't wake up. Chloe held them tighter, as if to protect them from the new and unfamiliar place. They entered through a side door that led directly into the kitchen. Chloe stopped at the entrance, impressed. The kitchen was enormous, with a central marble island, stainless steel appliances that looked like they had never been used, and large windows overlooking the garden. "Do you cook?" she asked. "Not much," Noah admitted. "I order in most of the time." They passed through the living room, expensive leather sofas, a giant television on the wall, shelves full of books that seemed more for decoration than for reading. Everything was impeccably clean and organized. Everything was empty, not empty of furniture, empty of life. They went up the main staircase. Chloe followed Noah down the wide corridors, looking at the paintings on the walls, the expensive rugs, the decor that screamed money but whispered loneliness. "Here," Noah said, stopping in front of a door on the second floor. He opened the door and turned on the light. The guest room was larger than the abandoned room where she had been living, but it wasn't ostentatious. A queen-sized bed with clean white sheets, a dresser, a comfortable armchair in the corner, a window with light-colored curtains, simple but cozy. "This is the guest room," Noah said. "Tomorrow we'll buy whatever is needed. Today I just want you to rest." Chloe stood at the entrance, still holding the twins. Her discomfort was visible in the way she avoided looking directly at him, in the tension in her shoulders, in the way she bit her lower lip. "I don't know what to say," she murmured. "You don't have to say anything. Your things are so nice. I don't want them to break something or—" "Chloe," Noah interrupted her gently. "They're babies. Babies touch everything. Make a mess. It's normal. I don't care about that." She finally looked at him. "How can you not care? These things must have cost a fortune. So what? They're just things. What?" "They're children." Noah showed her where the bathroom was, brought clean towels, showed her how the shower worked. Chloe listened to everything in silence, gently swaying to keep the twins asleep. "Are there diapers here?" she asked. "No, but first thing tomorrow I'll buy everything you need." "I brought a few in the bag." "How many?" 3. Maybe 4. Noah did a quick mental calculation. 2 children, several changes a day each. It wouldn't even last through the day. "I'll go out now and buy some basic things." "But it's almost 6 in the evening. The stores must be closing." "There's a pharmacy open late, a 24-hour supermarket." "You don't have to—" "Yes, I do," he said firmly. "You're going to need diapers, milk, maybe some clean clothes?" Chloe looked at the babies in her arms, then at the cozy room. "Noah, I don't know how to thank you for this." "You don't need to thank me. Just rest. Take a shower if you want. Put the babies to sleep in a real bed." He left the room and closed the door softly. Chloe was left alone with Ethan and Emma, looking around the room. It was the first time in months she had been in a truly safe place. The walls were solid. The windows had glass and closed properly. The floor had no holes. There was no noise of cars from the street. No shouting neighbors, no sound of sirens. Silence. Safe silence. She placed the twins on the large bed, making a barrier with pillows so they wouldn't fall. They continued to sleep, finally relaxed. For the first time in weeks, there was no tension on their small faces. Chloe went into the bathroom. Hot water came out of the shower immediately. Soft towels, nice-smelling soap, expensive shampoo. She took the longest shower of her adult life, letting the hot water wash away weeks of exhaustion and fear. When she got out, the babies were still asleep. She lay down on the bed next to them, a hand on each, and for the first time in months, maybe years, she allowed herself to relax completely. She was safe. They were safe. Noah returned from his shopping trip 2 hours later. He had gone to 3 different places, a pharmacy, a supermarket, and a department store that was still open. He didn't buy anything extravagant, just the essentials: diapers, formula, baby bottles, gentle baby soap. A few basic outfits in sizes he estimated would fit, instant porridge, and age-appropriate cookies. He went up the stairs quietly and stopped in front of the guest room door. He knocked gently. "Chloe." "Come in," a soft voice said. She was sitting on the bed, leaning against the headboard, with the 2 twins sleeping beside her. She had taken a shower, her hair was clean and combed, and she was wearing one of the less wrinkled outfits from her bag. "How are they?" Noah asked softly. "Sleeping soundly. I think they're exhausted." She looked at the bags in his hand. "Did you buy—" "Just some basic things," he said, placing the bags on the floor. "Diapers, milk, simple clothes." Chloe got up carefully so as not to wake the babies and opened the bags. Her eyes widened when she saw the amount of stuff. "Noah." "All this?" "It's just the basics. Enough diapers for a few days, milk, a few changes of clothes." "You didn't have to," she began, picking up a small, light blue onesie. "But I wanted to," he interrupted. She continued to look through the items, touching each one as if it were precious. Baby soap, gentle shampoo, a thermometer, even a few small, safe toys. And this must have cost a fortune. It cost what it needed to cost. Noah watched her as she organized the items. Every movement was careful, thoughtful. She separated the diapers by size, organized the clothes by type, and placed the baby bottles in a specific order. There was no waste in her gestures, no unnecessary movement. Diligent. That was the word that came to his mind. She was diligent with everything, with her children, with the few things she had, even with the things he had bought. "Can I ask you something?" Noah said. "Of course. How do you do it? Keep calm. Be so organized with everything, even in the situation you were in." Chloe looked at the babies sleeping on the bed. "Size, I don't have a choice. If I panic, who will take care of them? If I fall apart, they fall apart with me. So, you learn to be strong, even when you don't feel strong inside." "But do you feel strong inside?" She chuckled softly. "Never. I'm scared all the time. Scared I won't be able to take care of them properly. Scared I won't have enough money. Scared something will happen to me and they'll be left alone. But they can't know that." Noah watched her fold the tiny clothes. Her movements were gentle but precise. She checked each piece, made sure it was clean, that it had no defects. "You're an amazing mother," he said. "I don't know about that. I just do what I can. It's more than that. I've seen how you are with them. Even in the toughest situation, you keep them safe, clean, fed. You sacrifice for them without a second thought." Chloe stopped folding the clothes and looked at him. Any mother would do that. No, not any mother would. Noah sat in the armchair in the corner. "You could have given up. You could have given them up for adoption, moved on with your life, that it would have been easier." "Never," she said immediately, with a firmness that surprised even herself. "I would never do that. They are my life." "Exactly. And that's what you don't realize. That determination, that strength. It's not something every person has." Emma stirred on the bed, making a soft noise. Chloe immediately stopped organizing and went to her, placing a hand on the girl's small chest. Emma calmed down immediately, falling back into a deep sleep. Noah watched the scene in silence. The way she moved, the immediate attention she gave the babies, the natural connection she had with them. It was like watching a dance she knew by heart. "Are you hungry?" he asked. "A little, but I don't want to leave them alone in an unfamiliar place. I can bring something up for you. You don't have to bother." "It's no bother," he said, getting up. What kind of food do you like? Anything, I'm not picky. Noah went down to the kitchen and made a simple sandwich, cut up some fruit, and made some juice. Homemade food, nothing elaborate. When he returned, Chloe was sitting on the floor next to the bed, just watching the babies sleep. "They're beautiful," Noah said, offering her the plate. "They are," she agreed, taking the sandwich. "Even with all the hardship, when I look at them, it's all worth it." "What's it like, being a mother of twins?" "It's intense. Everything is doubled, 2 diapers to change, 2 mouths to feed, 2 children crying at the same time. But also 2 smiles, 2 people looking at you as if you're the most important person in the world. Did you always want to have children?" "I dreamed of it, but I imagined it would be different. That I'd have a husband, a house, stability." She took a bite of the sandwich. "Life doesn't always go as planned. Do you regret it?" "Never," she replied without hesitation. "Not for a second. They are the best thing that has ever happened to me." Noah watched her eat. She chewed slowly, savoring each bite, as if she didn't know when her next meal would be, probably because she really didn't. "Chloe," he said after a few minutes. I want you to know something. You can stay here as long as you need to. I'm not doing this expecting anything in return. It's not conditional charity. It's just, the right thing to do." She stopped eating and looked at him. "Why are you doing this? Really?" Noah thought about the question. It was too complex for a simple answer. Because you made me realize I was alive, but not living. Because seeing you with them, seeing your strength, your dedication, it made me want to be a better person. Because everyone deserves a chance, and you deserve so much more than that. What if I mess up your life? What if the babies cry at night, make noise? This house needs noise," Noah said. "It needs life. It's been just me here for years, in silence, alone. You arrived and I can't explain it, but I feel like the house has taken a breath again." Chloe finished eating in silence. Then she got up and went to the window, looking out at the garden below. "It's beautiful," she murmured. "Tomorrow, if the weather's nice, you can take them outside. There's a grassy area that's safe. They'll like that. They've never really played on grass before." Noah felt a tightness in his chest. 2 children over a year old who had never played on grass. Ethan started to stir on the bed, making soft noises. Chloe immediately went over to him. "He's going to wake up hungry," she said, already grabbing one of the new baby bottles. "Do you need help?" "No, thank you, I'm used to it." Noah watched her prepare the bottle with Shaw's quick movements. She tested the temperature on her wrist, shook it to mix well, and checked it one more time before picking Ethan up. The baby opened his eyes, saw his mother's face, and smiled even before he saw the bottle. Chloe smiled back, whispering something softly that Noah couldn't hear. It was a simple scene, a mother feeding her son, but there was something profoundly beautiful about it. The connection between them, the obvious love, the natural way she anticipated his needs. Emma woke up a few minutes later, and soon Chloe had both of them in her lap, a bottle in each hand, whispering softly to them as they drank. "How do you manage to do that?" Noah asked, genuinely impressed. "Do what?" "Feed both of them at the same time." "Practice," she laughed. "A lot of practice and a few positioning tricks." Noah watched until they finished their milk. Then he watched Chloe change both of their diapers, put clean clothes on them, and brush their tiny teeth with a finger brush. Every movement was careful, loving. She talked to them throughout the process, explaining what she was doing, humming softly, making funny faces that made them smile. "There," she said finally, "clean and ready to sleep again." She placed them back on the bed, one on each side, and lay down between them. The twins snuggled up against her, Ethan pulling a lock of her hair, Emma sucking her thumb. "Good night," Noah said from the door, "and good night, and thank you for everything. Sleep well." Noah closed the door and stood in the hallway for a few minutes. For the first time in years, his house had the sounds of life, soft breathing, low murmurs, the almost imperceptible noise of people truly resting. He went down to his room on the first floor but couldn't sleep immediately. He kept thinking about Chloe, about the way she cared for her children, the quiet strength she possessed, the dignity she maintained even in the most difficult situation. Upstairs, in the guest room, Chloe didn't fall asleep immediately either. She listened to the sounds of the house, the wind in the garden trees, the distant noise of cars on the street, the calm breathing of her children beside her. For the first time in months, she and her children were sleeping in safety. And for the first time in years, Noah's house was not empty. On Monday morning, Noah woke up to a different sound echoing through the house. It wasn't the usual silence. It was soft voices, gentle footsteps, the sound of water running upstairs, life. He showered and dressed for work, as he always did. But for the first time in years, he went downstairs with a certain curiosity about what he would find. In the kitchen, Chloe was preparing bottles, the two twins sitting on the floor near her. Ethan was playing with a wooden spoon. Emma was watching her mother's movements intently. "Good morning," Noah said. "Good morning," Chloe replied, turning with a smile. "I hope we didn't wake you. They wake up early." "You didn't. I always wake up at this time." "Want some coffee?" "I made a pot." Noah stopped. It had been years since someone had offered him coffee in his own home. "Thank you." She poured a mug and handed it to him. The coffee was strong, just the way he liked it, although he didn't remember mentioning that to her. "How did you know I like my coffee like this?" "I noticed the pods you use in the machine. They're all strong coffee." It was a small detail, but it impressed him. She paid attention to things. "Did you sleep well?" "Like logs," she smiled. Emma woke up once, but she went back to sleep quickly. "I think they felt safe." Noah drank his coffee, observing the scene. Ethan had discovered that banging the spoon on the floor made a noise and was repeating the motion with obvious satisfaction. Emma was trying to crawl towards the refrigerator, but her legs weren't quite coordinating yet. "I have to go to work," he said finally. "Of course. Don't worry about us. We'll be quiet." "You don't have to be quiet." "This is your home now, too." He grabbed his briefcase and keys, but hesitated at the door. "Chloe." "Yes." "If you need anything at all, my number is on the fridge." "Okay, thank you." Noah left the house, but the entire way to the office, he couldn't stop thinking about the scene in the kitchen. The difference in the atmosphere, the feeling that the house was alive. At work, he tried to focus on the morning meetings, the presentations, the reports that always filled his days, but his mind was elsewhere. He was thinking about Ethan discovering that a spoon makes a noise, about Emma trying to crawl, about Chloe offering him coffee as if it were the most natural thing in the world. During lunch, instead of eating at the expensive restaurant he frequented with clients, he ordered a simple sandwich and ate it at his desk, thinking about home. Home. When was the last time he had thought of that place as home, and not just where he slept? At 3 in the afternoon, during a presentation about the company's new software, Noah found himself wondering what Chloe and the babies were doing. Were they okay? Was she comfortable? Were the babies adjusting to the new place? At 5, when he would normally stay until 7 or 8, Noah shut down his computer. "Leaving early today?" asked Marcus, his business partner. "I have some things to take care of at home." "You? Things at home?" Marcus laughed. "What's this miracle?" Noah didn't answer, just grabbed his things and left. On the way, he stopped at the supermarket and bought a few things. Fresh fruit, bread, something for dinner. He didn't know if Chloe had cooked anything, but he wanted to make sure there was enough food. When he got home, he was greeted by a smell he hadn't smelled in years, the smell of home-cooked food and sounds. Sounds his house had never had. Children's laughter, voices talking, the clatter of pans in the kitchen. Noah parked in the garage and stood there for a moment, just listening. His house was alive. He entered through the kitchen and found a scene that left him speechless. The table was set for 2. There was a pot on the stove, from which the wonderful smell was coming. The 2 twins were on the living room floor, playing on the rug that had never been used for playing. Ethan was crawling back and forth. Emma was sitting and playing with some plastic kitchen utensils. And Chloe was at the sink, washing a dish, humming softly. "Hi," he said. She turned, smiling. "You're home early today." "Yeah, I wanted to come home." The words came out before he could think. I wanted to come home. Not I wanted to leave work. Not I wanted to end the day. I wanted to come home. "I hope you're hungry. I made a simple stew." "You cooked? I hope you don't mind. I found some ingredients in the pantry, some vegetables in the fridge." "I don't mind. It's just that no one has cooked here in a long time." "Well, now someone does." She smiled. The boys loved the smell. They stayed in the kitchen the whole time while I was preparing it. Noah looked at the twins on the rug. Ethan had managed to get on all fours, rocking back and forth as if preparing to crawl for real. Emma was drooling on a plastic spoon, completely focused. They seem happy. They're loving the space. They can crawl freely. They don't have to be held all the time. Chloe dried her hands and approached him. "And you? How was work?" No one asked about his work, ever. He would come home, eat something alone, work a little more on the computer, and sleep. No one cared if his day had been good or bad. It was different. I kept thinking about you guys, thinking about us. If you were okay, if you needed anything, if the babies were adjusting. Chloe looked at him with a strange expression. "Say it's been a long time since someone worried about me like that. It's been a long time since I had someone to worry about." They looked at each other for a moment, until Emma let out a cry of joy at managing to throw the spoon far away. They both laughed. "I'm going to change and I'll be right down," Noah said. "Dinner will be ready." Noah went up to his room but took longer than necessary to change. He stood at the window, listening to the sounds coming from downstairs, Chloe talking to the babies, explaining what she was doing. The babies responding with babbles and giggles. His house had the sounds of a family. When he came down, the table was set. The stew smelled incredibly good. There was fresh bread, even a simple salad. "This looks delicious. It's my grandmother's recipe. I hope you like it." They sat down to dinner. The twins continued to play on the rug, but now Ethan had discovered he could move forward by leaning on his elbows, and was determined to reach a toy that was far away. "He's going to be crawling soon," Noah observed. "He will, Emma too, they're at that age." Chloe served the stew. "I hope you don't mind the noise they'll make when they can move properly." "I don't mind. This house needs noise." Noah tasted the stew. It was delicious, real food, made with care, with just the right amount of seasoning. "This is amazing. Thank you. It's been a while since I cooked properly. It's nice to have a fully equipped kitchen." They ate in relative silence, but it wasn't an uncomfortable silence. It was punctuated by the sounds of the babies playing, by casual comments about the food, by moments of watching Ethan trying to reach the distant toy. "Chloe," Noah said after a while. Thank you. For what?" "For this," he gestured around. "For the food, for the tidy house, for the life. My house didn't feel like a home until now." Chloe stopped eating and looked at him. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I lived here, but I didn't live here. It was just a place where I slept between workdays. But now—" He paused, searching for the right words. "Now I wanted to come home. I wanted to see you. I wanted to know how your day was." "And how do you feel about that?" "Different," he admitted. "A good different." Emma managed to sit up on her own and clapped her hands, proud of her achievement. Chloe and Noah smiled at the same time. "She's getting more independent every day. And Ethan too, look at him." Ethan had finally reached the toy and was examining it with the seriousness of a scientist studying a new discovery. "They're growing up," Chloe said with a mix of pride and melancholy. "Does that make you sad?" "A little. Every phase that passes doesn't come back. But I'm also happy. It means I'm managing to take care of them properly. You're doing more than just taking care of them. You're raising two happy human beings." After dinner, they stayed in the living room, watching the babies play. Chloe sat on the floor with them, Noah in the armchair, but participating in the games. When it was time to put the twins to bed, Noah helped carry them upstairs. "Good night, Ethan," he said, lightly touching the boy's head. "Good night, Emma." The children smiled at him before Chloe took them to the room. Noah stayed in the living room, looking around. The house was tidy, but not in an artificial way. There were signs of life everywhere. A blanket on the sofa, a few toys organized in the corner, the smell of food still in the air. For the first time in years, his house felt like a home. And for the first time in years, Noah didn't want to be anywhere else. After putting the twins to bed, Chloe came down to the living room. Noah was sitting on the sofa, a glass of wine in his hand, looking out the large window that overlooked the garden. The outdoor lights created a soft, almost intimate atmosphere. "Want some?" he offered, holding up the bottle. "Please." She sat at the other end of the sofa, took the glass he offered, and took a small sip. She wasn't used to expensive wine, but it was nice, smooth. "How are they?" Noah asked, sleeping soundly. Ethan took a little longer, but Emma was out as soon as her head hit the pillow. "They seem to be adapting well here." "They are. It's amazing how quickly children adjust to safe places." Chloe took another sip. "And you? Are you adjusting well to having 3 invaders in your house?" Noah smiled. "They're not invaders. And yes, I'm adjusting better than I imagined." They sat in silence for a few minutes, drinking wine and listening to the nightly sounds of the house. It was different from the silence before. It had life even though it was quiet. "Noah," Chloe said finally. "Yeah, can I ask you something?" "Of course." She hesitated, swirling the glass in her hands. "Why did you do all this for me?" The question hung in the air between them. Noah knew it would come eventually, but he still wasn't sure how to answer it completely. "To us, what do you mean? You took me out of that horrible place, brought us to your home and bought things for the babies, treated us like family. Why? You don't even know me." Noah looked at her. Chloe was different since they had arrived, more relaxed, less tense. Her hair was down, falling over her shoulders, and she was wearing a simple blouse he had bought. She was beautiful. Not just beautiful, she was at peace. "At first, it was just help," he said finally. "I saw you in that situation, with 2 children, and I thought it was the right thing to do. Any decent person would have done the same. But you stayed. And He paused, searching for the words. "I started to like the silence with you here." "The silence?" "The different silence. Before, my house was dead silent. Now it's alive and silent, if that makes any sense." Chloe studied him with her gaze. "It does. And I started to like the living house, coming home and knowing you're here, smelling food, hearing you talk, seeing toys scattered around the living room." He took a sip of his wine. "I started to like your presence." The last words came out quieter, almost a whisper. Chloe looked at him, surprised, touched. There was something in the way he said "your presence" that made her realize it wasn't just about charity or kindness. "My presence, your presence," Noah repeated, looking directly at her. "The way you take care of the babies, the way you organize things, the way you make this house feel like a home, the way you are." Chloe felt something stir in her chest. It had been a long time since someone had seen her like that. Not as a desperate mother, not as someone who needed help, not as a problem to be solved, just as her. "No one has ever," she started, then stopped. "What?" "No one has ever seen me like this before. As a person. You know? Since the babies were born, I'm always the single mother, the woman with 2 kids, the one who needs help." She looked down at her hands. "You look at me like I'm just Chloe, because you are just Chloe, who also happens to be an amazing mother, but first you're Chloe." For the first time in a long time, she felt seen. Not judged, not categorized, not defined by the circumstances of her life. Seen. "Thank you for that," she said softly. "You don't have to thank me for seeing the obvious." They returned to silence, but now there was something different in the air, an intimacy that wasn't there before, a mutual understanding that was forming. "Can I ask you something now?" Noah said. "Of course. Why do you never complain?" "What do you mean? You've been through all this, lost your job, been abandoned, had to live in a horrible place with 2 children, but I've never seen you complain, play the victim, blame others." "Why?" Chloe thought about the question, because complaining won't change anything. And because the babies can't see despair on my face all the time, they need a mother who's in control even when she's not. But you must feel angry, frustrated. I do. Of course, I do. Some nights I cry in the bathroom, very quietly so they don't hear. There are moments when I want to scream, to give up, to hand it all over to the universe to solve. She took another sip of her wine. But in the morning they wake up and they need me. And so, I keep going. And their father? Do you feel angry at him? I did. A lot. But anger is a luxury I can't afford for long. It consumes too much energy, and I need all the energy I have to take care of them. Noah watched her speak. There was a maturity in the way she handled things, a wisdom that came from having gone through real hardship. You're impressive, he said. I'm not. I just do what needs to be done. That's what makes you impressive, Chloe smiled, but soon her expression grew more serious. And you? Why do you live alone in this giant house? Why don't you have a family, a girlfriend? Noah tensed up. It was a question he had expected, but he wasn't ready to answer. It's complicated. I have time. It's not a very pretty story. The best stories never are. Noah finished the wine in his glass and refilled it. Then he refilled Chloe's as well. I was engaged, he said finally, 5 years ago. What happened? Everything was ready. The church was decorated, guests invited, the party booked. I was at the altar waiting for her to show up. He paused, swirling his wine. She never showed up. She left you at the altar. Literally. I got a text from her when she was already an hour late. It said she had met someone else, that she couldn't marry me, that it was better this way. Chloe felt her heart ache. Oh my God, Noah. I'm so sorry. The worst part wasn't even the humiliation in front of all the guests. The worst part was finding out later that she had been with another guy for 3 months. 3 months, Chloe. And I was planning a wedding, talking about kids, about the future. That must have been devastating. It was. But you know what was even worse? Finding out that some people knew, and no one told me. I stood there playing the fool, while half the world knew my fiancé was cheating on me. Noah got up and went to the window, his back to her. After that, I closed myself off. I decided I would never let myself be that vulnerable again. I would never trust someone like that again. I promised myself I would never love again. And did you succeed? You never felt anything for anyone again. I did. For 5 years, I didn't let anyone get really close. I went out with some women, but nothing serious, nothing that could hurt me. And now, Noah turned to her. Now I'm confused, because you came into my life and messed everything up. I'm sorry. No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's... He returned to the sofa. It's that I wasn't prepared to feel again. Feel what? Connection. Caring. The desire to protect, to take care of. The desire to come home and find you here. Chloe watched him speak. There was something vulnerable in the way he expressed himself, as if he were admitting something dangerous. You didn't stop feeling, she said softly. What? You didn't stop feeling? You were just scared. There's a difference. What's the difference? Those who stop feeling become empty inside. You're not empty. You were just guarded. Noah looked at her. And now? Now you're allowing something to blossom, and that's scary. It's very scary. Because this time it matters. When something doesn't matter, we're not afraid of losing it. And does this matter? Chloe looked at him, really looked. She saw the man who had pulled her out of a desperate situation without asking for anything in return, who had bought diapers and milk for children who weren't even his, who had turned an empty house into a living one just because they were there. It matters, she said softly. To you too. To me too. They looked at each other for a long moment. There was something in the air, a good tension, a mutual recognition that something was changing between them. I'm scared, Noah admitted. Of what? Of messing this up, of not being good enough, of you and the babies one day deciding you don't need me anymore. Noah? Or of me doing something wrong and you having to leave? Or of finding out that I'm not the person you think I am? What person do you think we think you are? Someone who's worth it. Someone who deserves to have a family. Chloe moved from her end of the sofa to where he was sitting. She sat closer, almost touching him. You saved my life, and my children's lives. You gave us not just a roof over our heads, but dignity. You made us feel important. She touched his hand. Of course you're worth it. And what if I can't be what you need? What if you can? Noah looked at their hands, intertwined on the sofa. I don't know how to do this. It's been so long since I've felt this for someone. You don't have to know. We'll figure it out together. Together. If you want to. Noah looked up at her. I do. I'm scared, but I do. Then it's okay to be scared. I am too. Of what? Of not being enough for someone like you. Of you one day realizing we're just baggage in your life. Of it being just gratitude and not something real. Chloe, look at me. She looked. This is real. I don't know what it is exactly. I don't know where it's going, but it's real. How do you know? Because when I come home and you're here, I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. Because when I look at you taking care of the babies, my chest feels tight in a good way. Because for the first time in years, I wake up thinking about someone other than myself. Chloe felt tears in her eyes. I wake up thinking about you too. Really? I wake up wondering if you slept well, if you'll like the coffee I made, if you'll come home from work early. She smiled through her tears. It's been a long time since I cared about someone other than my children. Noah raised his free hand and gently touched her face. I don't know what we're doing. Me neither. But can we figure it out together? We can. They stayed like that for a moment, hands intertwined, faces close, silently admitting that something had irrevocably changed between them. Upstairs, one of the babies made a small noise in their sleep. Chloe automatically turned her head towards the sound, ready to go up if necessary. Go, Noah said. See if everything's okay. No need. It was just a dream. They do that. Are you sure? I'm sure. But the moment of intimacy had passed. Reality returned. She was a mother. She had responsibilities. She couldn't just forget the rest of the world. It's late, she said. I should go to sleep. You should. But neither of them moved. Noah. Yes. Thank you for telling me about what happened to you. Thank you for listening without judging. Thank you for seeing me as a person. Thank you for letting me be a part of your lives. Chloe finally stood up. Good night. Good night, Chloe. She paused on the stairs and turned back. Noah. Yes? This thing that's happening. It's worth being a little scared for. Why? Because it means it really matters. And with that, she went up to her room, leaving Noah alone in the living room, processing a night that had changed everything between them. For the first time in 5 years, he was allowing someone to truly enter his life. And for the first time since the babies were born, Chloe was allowing someone to truly enter hers. Noah woke up to the sound of soft music coming from the garden. It was 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and he usually slept in on weekends. But the gentle melody drew him to his bedroom window. Chloe was on the lawn with the twins, singing a lullaby while they played with dry leaves that had fallen from the trees. Emma was sitting, trying to put a leaf in her mouth, while Ethan crawled in circles around his mother. Chloe's voice was soft, maternal, full of love. She sang as if it were the most natural thing in the world, as if there were no place in the universe she would rather be. Noah just stood there, watching. There was something magical about the scene. The morning sun filtering through the leaves of the trees, Chloe in a simple t-shirt and loose hair, the babies discovering new textures. It was a common, everyday scene, but it touched him in a way he didn't expect. She sings softly to them, he thought, as if it's the most precious thing she could do with her time. After a few minutes, he went down to the garden. Good morning, he said, approaching the group. Good morning, Chloe smiled, stopping her song. Did we wake you? No. The sound is beautiful. Emma saw Noah approach and held out her little arms to him, a toothless grin lighting up her face. He picked her up, impressed by the naturalness of the gesture. "She's warming up to you," Chloe observed. "And I to her. To both of them, actually." Ethan had found a small twig and was examining it with the concentration of a scientist. Noah sat on the grass next to Chloe, Emma on his lap, and they watched the baby's morning discoveries. "They're changing," Noah said. "What do you mean?" "More relaxed, smiley. They look like normal children playing in a garden, not children who have been through hardship. Children adapt quickly when they feel safe. They know they're protected here." Noah watched Ethan, who was now trying to break the twig into smaller pieces. The boy's determination was admirable. "How do you do it?" he asked. "Do what?" "Have so much patience with them. I see them trying the same thing 50 times, failing, trying again, and you never get irritated, never lose your cool." Chloe chuckled softly. "You didn't see me yesterday when Emma threw porridge on the wall 3 times in a row. And what did you do?" "I took a deep breath and cleaned it up 3 times. "Because she's 1 year old, Noah. She doesn't know she can't throw food on the wall. She's just exploring cause and effect. Still, it must be tiring." "It is. Sometimes it's exhausting. But look at them." She pointed to Ethan, who had managed to break the twig and was now examining each piece. "Every little discovery is a miracle to them. How can I get annoyed with miracles?" Emma started to get restless on Noah's lap. Chloe took her back and placed her on the grass next to her brother. "They play together without even realizing it," Noah observed. "Our twins do that. They have a different connection. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and they're both awake in the crib, talking in a language only they understand." "Talking?" "They babble to each other, like they're sharing secrets." Noah watched the babies for a few more minutes. There was something hypnotic about the way they interacted with the world. Everything was new, everything was interesting, everything deserved a full investigation. "Chloe," he said finally. I always thought my life was already complete." She looked at him, curious about where the conversation was going. "I had my company, my house, my routine. I thought I was self-sufficient, that I didn't need anything else. And now you've arrived, and everything has changed." The words came out more seriously than he intended. Chloe stopped watching the babies and focused on him. "Changed how?" "It's changed everything. The way I see this house, the way I see my days, the way I see the future." Noah picked up a leaf from the ground and twirled it between his fingers. "Maybe I don't understand everything I'm feeling, but I know I want you around." "Noah, not out of charity, not because you need help." He looked directly at her. "Because I want you to be. Because when you're not here, I miss you. Because when you are, everything makes more sense." Chloe was silent for a long moment, processing his words. "And does that scare you?" "A lot, but not enough to make me want it to stop." Emma had found a small flower and was trying to pull it out of the ground. Ethan, seeing his sister focused on something, crawled over to her to investigate as well. "So they always do that," Chloe observed. "When one finds something interesting, the other comes to see. How do you think they'll react to this?" Noah gestured between the two of them. "Us getting close?" "Yeah, I don't know. They like you. That's already a good sign." Chloe smiled. "And they need a father figure in their lives. And you? Do you need someone in your life?" "I don't need to, but I want to." The words hung in the air between them. Emma had managed to pull up the flower and was now offering it to Ethan, who took it gently. "They share everything," Noah murmured. "That's what families do." "Family?" Chloe blushed slightly. "Sorry, I didn't mean to assume." "No, don't apologize." It's been a long time since I thought about that, about family. And you think about it now. Now I can't stop thinking about it." The sun was getting stronger. Chloe stood up and started to gather the babies' things. "Let's go inside. They're going to get thirsty." Inside, while she prepared bottles, Noah watched her routine. Every movement was automatic but careful. She tested the temperature of the milk, cleaned the bottles before using them, and organized everything in a specific order. "Can I help with anything? Can you hold Ethan while I give Emma her bottle?" Noah picked up the boy. Ethan snuggled against him naturally, as if he were already used to being held by him. He trusts you," Chloe observed. "How do you know? Children this age don't relax with just anyone. He's completely limp in your arms." Noah looked at Ethan, who was playing with the button on his shirt, completely focused. "It's strange how quickly this happened." "What?" "Me caring about them. About you. 3 weeks ago I didn't even know you, and now I can't imagine this house without you." After the babies had their bottles and napped for a bit, Noah decided to cook lunch. Nothing elaborate, just a simple pasta with tomato sauce. "Can I help?" Chloe offered. "Sure, but I should warn you, I'm not a great chef." "Me neither." "We'll figure it out together." They worked side by side in the kitchen, Noah cooking the pasta, Chloe preparing a salad. The babies played on the kitchen floor, Ethan with some plastic pots, Emma with wooden spoons. There was something domestic and comfortable about the scene. Chloe laughed softly when Noah asked if he was putting in too much salt, and he smiled when she hummed distractedly while cutting tomatoes. "This feels normal," Noah said. "Normal how?" "Like something we've been doing for years. Like we've always cooked together on Saturdays, with the babies playing at our feet. It's a good feeling." "It is." Emma started banging a wooden spoon on the floor in a specific rhythm. Ethan, hearing the music, started banging his pots to the same rhythm. "Look at that," Chloe laughed. "A band. We're going to need a bigger table if this becomes a routine. Do you want it to become a routine?" Noah stopped stirring the sauce and looked at her. "I want everything with you to become a routine." Lunch was ready. Noah put the plates on the table, and Chloe settled the babies in the high chairs he had bought. As he was about to serve, he reached out his hand to her. "Before we eat, yes. I wanted you to know that this, right here, right now, is what I want for the rest of my life." She took his hand, intertwining their fingers. "Me too." They didn't say anything else. They didn't need to. The love was already there, in their intertwined hands, in their shared smiles, in the way they looked at each other and then at the babies, without needing to be named. They ate in relative silence, broken only by the happy babbles of Ethan and Emma. From time to time, Noah and Chloe would look at each other and smile, a silent communication that needs no words. After lunch, they went out to the balcony. The babies were napping in their strollers, the soft sound of their breathing mixed with the rustling of leaves in the wind. "It's perfect," Chloe said, approaching the balcony railing. "It is." Noah stood behind her, hesitated for a moment, then gently placed his hands on her shoulders. "Chloe?" "Yes. I don't really know how this happened, how we went from strangers to this, what? To a family, because that's what we are now, right? A family." She turned to look at him. "Is that what you want? An instant family with a woman and 2 babies that aren't yours? I want you just as you are with everything you bring. I want to wake up every day knowing you're here. I want to cook on Saturday mornings and hear you singing in the garden. And the babies. Do you want to be their father? I already feel like their father. I don't know when it happened. But when Ethan smiles at me, my chest swells with pride. When Emma holds out her little arms to me, I feel like I'm the most important person in the world to her." Chloe rested her head on his shoulder. "They already see you as a father. And you? How do you see me? As the man who saved our lives, as the person who turned our desperate situation into something beautiful, as the man I fell in love with without realizing it." There, a wordless promise was born, a promise that they would try, they would build something together, they would be a family, not because circumstances brought them together, but because they chose to stay together. Noah kissed the top of her head gently. "So that's it. We're a family." "We are," Chloe agreed. And for the first time since the babies were born, she allowed herself to believe that the future could be not just safe, but happy. In their strollers, Ethan and Emma slept soundly, unaware that their lives had just changed forever. A week after their conversation on the balcony, Noah woke up with an idea. It wasn't just an idea, it was a project, a plan. Something that had been growing in his mind ever since he realized that Chloe and the babies were no longer guests, but family. After breakfast, while Chloe was playing with the twins in the garden, he went up to the 3rd floor. There was a room there that had always been used as a storage space. Old boxes, furniture he didn't use. Things accumulated over the years, but the room had something special. 2 large windows that overlooked the garden, natural light all day long, enough space to be transformed into something important, a home. Noah spent the entire morning up there, moving heavy boxes, cleaning accumulated dust, planning every detail, imagining what the perfect space for Chloe and the children would be like. "What are you doing up there?" Chloe asked when he came down for lunch, sweaty and covered in dust. "A project," he said, washing his hands at the sink. "I'll need to go out this afternoon." "Will you be okay on your own?" "Of course. But what kind of project?" "You'll see," he replied. "It's a surprise." She looked at him curiously, but didn't press. One of the things Noah admired most about her was how she respected his personal space, even while living in the same house. In the afternoon, he went to several stores. Not expensive stores, not designer furniture. Simple stores with practical and beautiful things, a comfortable double bed, but not over the top. A light wood wardrobe, a small, functional dresser. For the babies, 2 cribs that could be converted into beds when they grew older, thinking about the future, about permanence. A fluffy rug for them to play on, some low shelves for toys, a rocking chair for long nights, paint for the walls, a soft shade of blue-gray, simple white linen curtains that would block the light when needed, 2 comfortable armchairs near the larger window, with a small table between them, a place for nightly conversations, for reading. He spent 3 days organizing everything. He hired painters, furniture assemblers, cleaners. Chloe would ask about the noises upstairs, but he always said, "It's not ready yet." On the 4th day, everything was finished. "Chloe," he called, coming down the stairs with his heart racing. "Yes?" "Can you come up here? Bring the babies too." She came up with Ethan and Emma in her arms, curious. Noah was standing at the door to the 3rd floor, as nervous as he had been in years. "Close your eyes," he asked. "Noah, trust me." "I always trust you," she said, closing her eyes. He guided her into the room, positioning her in the center of the space. "So you can open them." Chloe opened her eyes and was left completely speechless. What was once a dusty storage room was now a complete bedroom suite. Cozy, but not luxurious. The bed was covered with simple but high-quality white sheets. The dresser had a few small plants on top and a simple mirror on the wall. The 2 windows were open, letting in natural light and a breeze from the garden. The curtains swayed gently. In the children's area, the 2 cribs were positioned so that Chloe could see both from the bed. The rug on the floor was colorful but in soft tones. Low shelves with a few organized toys, the rocking chair in the corner. The armchairs by the window created a perfect little reading nook. "Noah," she whispered. "It's yours," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I know the guest room was fine, but this is permanent. This is a real home." Chloe put the babies on the new rug and walked slowly around the room, touching things gently. She ran her hand over the dresser, tested the softness of the bed, looked out the window. "You did this for us. I did this for our family." She stopped in front of the window that overlooked the garden. Below, she could see where they used to play in the morning, where she sang to the babies. "This house is yours too," Noah said, approaching her, "because now we're a family." Tears started to stream down Chloe's face, but they weren't the familiar tears of despair, of fear, of uncertainty. They were completely different tears, tears of relief at finally having a place in the world that was truly hers, relief at no longer having to worry about where they would sleep tomorrow, relief at having found not just security but true love. "Don't cry," Noah asked, getting closer. "I can't stop," she laughed through her tears. But this time it's not because I'm scared. Why then? Because of relief, because of gratitude, because of pure happiness. She turned to him, still crying but smiling. No one has ever done something like this for me. No one has ever cared enough to give me a real home. You deserve so much more than this. No, this is perfect. It's exactly what I used to dream of when I still believed in dreams. Ethan had discovered the toys on the low shelves and was trying to reach a teddy bear. Emma was crawling on the new rug, exploring the different texture. They're already making themselves at home, Noah observed, smiling. How did you know exactly what we needed? Because I paid attention to you. I saw how you organize things, how you like the baby's room to be, where you like to sit and read at night. You watch me? I watch everything about you. And about them. You're my family, Chloe. Chloe dried her tears and went to him. Thank you isn't enough for this. You don't have to thank me. We're family. Family takes care of each other. We are, she agreed, smiling. We're a real family. That night, they slept for the first time in the new room. The babies adapted immediately to their new cribs. Chloe stayed awake for hours, admiring the space, unable to believe it was theirs, hers, theirs, forever. 6 months later, the house had found its own soul. A soul made of family routines, of everyday love. Noah woke up every day to the sound of Chloe singing to the babies during their morning bath. He had coffee in the kitchen while she prepared baby food, the twins, now older and more active, playing on the floor with pots and spoons. The house constantly smelled of home-cooked food. Chloe cooked as if it were the most natural thing in the world, experimenting with recipes, filling every room with aromas that made the house feel truly lived in. There was the constant sound of babies. Ethan and Emma, now a 1.5 years old, crawled all over the house, babbled incomprehensible conversations between themselves, and laughed at things only they understood. Their toys were scattered throughout every room, not in a messy way, but in a lively way, and there was a silence full of presence. In the quiet moments, when the babies were napping and Chloe was resting, the house wasn't empty. It was full of life, even in silence, full of love, of family, of the future. Noah changed his work routine. He left later in the morning to have more time with his family during breakfast. He came back earlier in the afternoon, always eager to be reunited with the 3 people who had become the center of his universe. That particular Thursday, he got home from work at 5:30. He parked in the garage and listened for a few minutes to the sounds coming from inside the house. Chloe humming in the kitchen while preparing dinner. The babies babbling in the living room, the sound of the TV on low with some children's program. House, home, family. He entered through the kitchen and found Chloe making fresh coffee, as she did every day. She was wearing a light blue dress he had bought her, her hair in a messy bun, a few strands escaping. "Hi," she smiled, turning when she heard his footsteps. "Nice, love." In the living room, Ethan and Emma were playing with colorful blocks, building unstable towers that would collapse and make them burst into laughter. They had grown so much. Ethan was almost walking on his own. Emma was saying single words that only she and her brother understood. "How was your day?" Chloe asked, pouring coffee into 2 mugs. "Long, but now it's perfect." "Why?" "Because I'm home, with you." Noah stood behind her as she stirred sugar into his coffee. She knew exactly how he liked it. He put his arms around her waist and hugged her from behind. "You know something," he said softly, his chin resting on her shoulder. "What? You didn't just clean my car that day." "I didn't," she laughed softly. "You cleaned my heart. You washed away all the dirt that had been accumulating there for years." Chloe leaned back against his chest. "And you gave us a home. When I had completely given up on dreaming of one." They stood like that for a few minutes, embraced in the kitchen, listening to the sounds of the babies playing, feeling the weight and lightness of having built something truly real together. "It was hard to get here," Chloe said. It wasn't quick. Nor easy. There were times I thought it wouldn't work out. But it was real," Noah completed. "The whole time it was real. And now?" She turned in his arms to look into his eyes. "Now it's love. A whole love, complete. In the living room, Emma managed to stack 4 blocks without them collapsing. She squealed with joy and clapped her hands. Ethan crawled over to her to see her achievement, and together they intentionally knocked down the tower, bursting into laughter. "They're so big," Noah observed, "growing up too fast. Soon they'll be running all over the house." "Do you regret it? How everything happened?" Chloe looked at the babies, then at him, then at the house around them. "Never. Not for a second. If it hadn't happened exactly as it did, maybe we wouldn't be here now, and here is perfect. Do you think it was destiny, us meeting like that?" "I don't know about destiny, but I know that when I saw you that day, even though I was desperate, I felt that you were different, that there was real kindness in you, and I felt that you were going to change my life forever. I didn't know how, but I knew." Ethan started crawling towards the kitchen, attracted by his parents' voices. Emma followed him immediately. "Daddy," Emma said clearly, holding her little arms out to Noah. "Mommy," Ethan said, pulling on Chloe's skirt. "Come here, my loves," Noah said, picking Emma up. Chloe picked up Ethan. The 4 of them stood there in the kitchen, embraced, a family formed from the most unlikely circumstances, but now as solid as a rock. "Daddy and Mommy," Emma repeated, touching Noah's face. "That's right, my love," he said, kissing the girl's forehead. "Daddy and Mommy. Forever." That night, after putting the babies to bed, they sat on the balcony with a glass of wine, watching the stars. "You know I love you, right?" Noah said suddenly. "I know, and you know I love you too." "How long have you known?" "I think since the day you insisted on seeing where I lived. I realized that you truly cared, and I think I knew when I saw you singing to them in the garden. I thought, this woman truly loves, and I want to be a part of that life. And you are. I am. Forever. Forever." Inside, the house breathed softly. Ethan and Emma slept soundly in their cribs, safe